Welcome back to another video brought to you by Data Up Consulting, and today we are going to be doing something a little bit different than what we're typically used to. So instead of going through a video in which we talk about only something done within Power BI or only something done within DOMO, we're actually doing both at the same time, side by side. And the reason for this is more so just to show you, we're going to be talking about building dashboards within, and we're going to show you mostly the similarities and also many of the differences that exist between the two. So let's get right into that video. Power BI on the left-hand side here, and on the right side I have DOMO. So I'm beginning with the left-hand side here within Power BI. So the first thing I want to do is actually just give this thing a title. So in order to do that, I'm going to create a text box. I'm only going to be talking about the basics today, so I'm not going to do anything super in-depth within these dashboards. Just make them really basic looking and just get the main point across here. And the data I will be using today is Nike's revenue, so that's because of that I'm going to be naming it that. So in the next step here, obviously since I have these data things set up here, what I want to do here is create some visuals. The way in which I'm going to be doing that is, of course, adding these things in here, and then when that does is, of course, builds a default visual right here, and just create some default visuals based off the data that I selected. So as you can see, I selected a bar graph right here. What I'm going to do next is build some quick cards to make it quick and easy here. And then once again, build one more card. And then one of the final things I'm going to be doing then is building a one more visual based off these things. So instead of doing the default one that I choose over here, I'm going to be choosing a pie chart. So as you can see, when that is done and everything, as you know, if you will use Power BI, in order to build a dashboard, you gotta build your visuals and just the overall look of the dashboard based off things and input it in your own certain way, such as building these things from scratch, selecting the data that you want, choosing a visual, and then put it in here, and then sizing it to fit the overall dimensions of the dashboard. So when you compare that thing to DOMO, there's many things in which DOMO does it better than this, and then it allows you to make it a lot more quicker, easier, and just overall better looking, in my opinion, when you try to make these dashboards. So for instance, I'll be going over to the right hand side here. So instead of having to do what I just did on the left hand side here and make each of these things individually, one nice thing within DOMO is allows you, when you go to the left hand side here, you have this thing called layout. When you drag that in here, it allows you the option to choose a bunch of default options in terms of fitting your cards and your title and all those type of things within here, instead of having to do what I just had the left hand side here and build them individually. So I'll be choosing the banner option here because that allows me to put a title up at the top of the screen. I would choosing that one, and then when that is done, you will see that they have a bunch of different little cards and everything that are placed in here along with borders and stuff that just make it a lot quicker instead of having to do it individually as I just did within Power BI. So as I just did on the Power BI side, the first thing I'm going to do is build a title. So what I want to do is click into that, do insert text, put it in the middle here, align it, and then I'm also going to give it the same title as I did before since I'll be using the same data. So I'll be naming it Nike Revenue and then centering it right there. So make that quick and easy. And then another nice thing as I talked about here, so as you're shown within Power BI, in order to create your visuals, you have to do each of them from scratch. So choosing the data in which you want and then building each individual visual that way. You do have that option within here as I will click in here, you click create new card. When that does, you click the visual, choose the data which you want. As I just talked about, I'm using the Nike revenue data set. Once you give that a click, it allows you to get the option to choose, 20, 30, 40 different options in terms of the visual that you want to choose. So as I just did on the left-hand side here, I'm also going to be going with that pie graph as I shown before. Just make that quick and simple. Save that here, and then when you click out of that, it will then load into the thing here, make it very nice and easy, as we just did on the Power BI side. But one of the very nice things that DOMO allows that is not done within Power BI is you also have the option to, instead of making from scratch, you have the option to already choose created cards that are within it already. So you click this little add existing card here, and although I'm not, this is not the same data set, you can get the idea that if I already made a visual before based off that same data set, I can just give this a click. I'll do this PWW NetSuite here, and it will load right in, just making it very quick and easy, along with all the filters, all the colors and stuff that I already pre-chosen before, and just make it a lot quicker in terms of being able to build it in. And you can do that as many times as you want. There's no limit. It's going to do add existing card, and instead of having to go through and scroll through here, you also have the option to type it in by name to make it quick and easier. And then once again, I will add in one more here. And when that is done, as I just said before, you will see a bunch of different colors and a bunch of different filters and stuff will already be added in as you already created in the past. You also have the option, if you want to, again, press edit content, go in there and change it as you just would any other card. But by doing this thing, it makes it a lot quicker, so you can, in your own time, create each of these cards individually, and then at the end, when you're all said and done, it just makes it, be a quick 5-10 minute process where you can just add each of these cards into the thing instead of having to do each individual one as you would in Power BI and having to spend 20, 30, 40 minutes on each of these things before you can go into the next one. It just makes it a lot quicker and easier, save you a lot of time in the process. So hopefully that's a very quick tutorial on DOMO stuff within here today compared to Power BI. Just wanted to show you the similarities and differences and the ways in which DOMO can be benefited compared to Power BI in terms of building the dashboards. Any other questions down below, feel free to give me any comments that you have, and I'll try to get to another video in the future. So thanks. Have a great day.